All right, I want to work on problem 7 from the homework here. So the first thing we need to do in order to simplify this is get the common denominators. So these denominators are completely different, right? So your first step needs to be to factor each of these denominators, okay? So take a second and try to factor this. All right, it's going to factor into 2 of those binomials, and also take a second and try to factor this one. Pause the video and try to factor those. All right, so I can go ahead and, I know I'm going to still have the x plus 2 and the x plus 3 in the bottom. To factor this one, I need to find the factors of 6 that will add up to 5. All right, so it's not 6 and 1, it's actually going to be 2 and 3. All right, because they have to add together to give you 5. And then they're the same signs and they're both negative. For this one, there's no GCF that you can factor out. So I know it's got to be a 2x and a 1x. And then here and here, it's got to be the factors of 2, so 1 and 2. But I cannot put the 2 on this side with the 2x, so I know it's got to be a 1 here and a 2 there. My signs, yeah, they're both negative. Okay. So these two denominators, I need them to be the same. All right, they both have an x minus 2 at least, but the one on the right is missing an x minus 3. So I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom. I got to give it an x minus 3. So I need to multiply top and bottom by x minus 3. And then the one on the left is missing this 2x minus 1. So I'm going to have to multiply top and bottom by 2x minus 1. Okay. Wow. All right, the bottom is just going to be left the same throughout this whole problem. It's going to be whatever this is. 2x minus 1, x minus 2, and an x minus 3. All right, that'll always be the same on this one. What I need to do is multiply out these numerators here. So 2x minus 1 is going to get multiplied by this x plus 2. Just use an old distributive property. So 2x times x will be 2x squared. 2x times 2 will be 4x. And then I'm going to do negative 1 times x, negative 1x, and negative 1 times 2, negative 2. All right, this minus symbol is going to be the important part. All right, it's going to be minus, and then I have to subtract off this whole thing, okay? This is going to be difference of squares, x plus 3 and x minus 3. So it's going to be x times x is x squared. The negative 3x and the positive 3x are going to cancel out, and you'll be left with a negative 9 in the end. Positive 3 times negative 3. Okay, what we need to do here is simplify the numerator. So distribute my negative and then combine like terms. Okay. I got a 2x squared, and I'm going to have a minus x squared, so that'll leave me with an x squared. 4x and a minus x will be a plus 3x. And then I've got a negative 2, and if I distribute this negative 1 right here, it's going to change that to a positive 9. So I got a positive 9 and a negative 2. That'll be positive 7. And then my denominator here is going to be the same thing. Of course, what you would want to do from here is check to see if this numerator will actually factor, and then possibly cancel, one of its factors with one of them down here. But the numerator won't factor. Like, you're not going to find two numbers that multiply to 7 and also add up to 3. So this should be our final answer. I'm just going to check it by plugging in some value for x. So let me go up to the top, and I'm just going to plug in some number for x up here. I'll do 5, something like that. Notice I cannot plug in 2 because that would blow up the bottom. All right, so let me just plug in 5 for x up here. 5 plus 2 is 7. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have 5 squared is 25. Oh, minus 5 times 5 is 25. So all I'm going to be left with is this plus 6 right here. So I get 7 over 6 minus, and then 5 plus 3 is 8. And then on this one, I got to do 2 times 5 squared, so 2 times 25 minus 5 times 5, and then plus 2. So 27. So I'm just plugging in 5 for all those x's. All right, on the original, what is 7/6 minus 8/27? Okay, it's equal to 47 over 54. Let me just write that down. 47 over 54. This was for my original. Okay, and then I need to plug in 5 for x on my answer, and hopefully I get the same exact answer. Here, I'll type it in directly. All right, x squared, but I'm going to be doing 5 squared, so 25 plus 3 times 5 is 15, plus 7. And then for this factor, it's going to be 2 times 5 is 10, 10 minus 1 is 9, and I'm timesing that by 5 minus 2, which is 3. And then I'm timesing that by 5 minus 3, which is 2. And it does give me the same answer. Okay. So this is number 7. So that's number 7.